Story 1. I struggle with expressing how I really feel in relationships because I'm scared of causing conflict. If I'm continually pressed about how I feel, especially in an argument, I just shut down because I'm so petrified of saying the wrong thing and making the situation worse. Story 2. I need reassurance and clarity. Tell me if you consider us exclusive. Tell me you like me. Tell me when you consider us together or partners. I need things verbally, which some people find hard. Otherwise, I get a bit anxious. Story 3. I am an anxious avoidant who struggles with depression, anxiety, and being in survival mode constantly. If someone cannot ease the demons in my head, then they are considered a hazard to my long-term survival, and I keep them at an arm's length. I do not like being touched due to past trauma, but I also miss affection. I have trust issues, think I am the most hideous thing on the planet, and believe that people only put up with me to use me and that no one really likes me. I am a mess. Story 4. I've been told more than once that arguing with me feels like talking to a detective. I am very calm. I don't forget details, and I spot inconsistencies very quickly. I guess I missed my calling. Story 5. The biggest issue is that I'm overweight, but the more profound one, I guess, is that I am very comfortable where I am. I have lived in 2 towns my entire life. I love traveling, but when it comes to where I live, I feel nice and safe here. I earn 6 figures, love my work and my colleagues, and have beers with my boss and his boss every couple of weeks. I live within an hour of some very close friend groups. One of my ex-partners noted when we broke up that one of the reasons was that I didn't want to take risks. I always took the safe option, and if it were up to me, I would live the rest of my life in the same city of 500,000 people. It really made me think for a couple of weeks about what I want to do with my life. 5 years later, I am still here in the same job with some promotions, but I travel a lot more, so there is that. Sorry for the rant. I just got back from a housewarming, so I am quite drunk, spilling my secrets all over the internet. Story 6. I'm more of a giver. I can ignore things or behaviors I dislike for a long time, just expecting the other person to realize that those bother me. I'll keep on being my normal self and giving my everything until something just switches in my mind, and I'll start listing what the other person did wrong when I could have mentioned that to him in the first place. To sum it up, I swallow and tolerate behaviors without telling the other person what's bothering me until, at some point, I explode. Story 7. I'm too okay with being alone. If you get on my nerves enough, I'll decide I don't need your stress when I can happily just be at peace by myself and will cut you off pretty quickly. Or as an introvert, I may decide I just don't feel like being around you anymore. I'm tired. I may break up. Story 8. Mental illness. My partner often has to take care of me because I can't care for myself. I lash out, break down, and my emotions can be extreme and unpredictable. I'm afraid my significant other will resent me and get stressed from the extra work that my problems bring. Story 9. I need my space to be clean always. I get stressed and a bit moody when things get dirty or messy. I have high standards when it comes to cleanliness and being organized. Story 10. I am a broken-hearted individual with baggage and probably trauma from my current relationship that could affect a future relationship. Just an insecure mess. Story 11. I'm asexual and not really willing to have sex just for someone else's benefit. Typically, what happens is that people will be fine with that at first, but then we get a little further into the relationship, and they start getting upset that my sexuality didn't magically change as I got to know them. Story 12. For me, because of past relationships, I'm going to be more guarded until I can trust you. Sometimes when I'm stressed, I just go on a long walk. Don't try to push me to open up. When the trust is there and I feel comfortable and confident you can handle it, I will. Once the trust is broken, it will be hard to get it back. Story 13. The fact that I don't really want to. I really like being single and independent. Online dating is abysmal, and I don't want to settle for someone I'm not crazy about just for companionship. So it will either have to be someone I meet and have insane chemistry with, which has happened, or it will have to be one of my best friends who I've gotten to know and really trust over time, which has also happened. And even then, I'd much prefer doing my own thing instead of answering to someone. Otherwise, I can't really be bothered. On applications, I've routinely run out of people because I swipe left on almost everyone. Story 14. I have pure obsessive-compulsive disorder, which develops into relationship obsessive-compulsive disorder. I struggle to live my own life separately from the relationship. Although I'm capable of it and mostly not burdening my partner with it, if given the choice, I would choose to do everything with them rather than anyone else. Story 15. I place an extremely high level of value on personal time. It's not that I need a lot of it, but I have to have alone time or self-care time at some point each week. Ex-partners have said it makes them feel like a second priority, which, to be fair, is completely correct at those times. Story 16. Having a neurodivergent condition and how I want to be treated with both acceptance and love without being seen as a faberge or being taken advantage of. It will also be difficult to bring this into the reason why I struggle to hold onto a job beyond 6 months to 2 years. Story 17. I like doing things myself. I don't ask for help. My boyfriend hates it. He recently found out I put a pause on my schooling because it became too expensive. I don't like bothering him, especially when it comes to money issues because he already spends a lot on me, and I also knew after a couple of months I'd have enough to go back to school. He asked how much it was, and I wouldn't tell him, so he sent me a significant amount. We had a whole back and forth before he was like, "This is an investment for our future." And he doesn't want me working dead-end jobs when he has the funds and is willing to help me get into a career that I'll love. He's such a good guy, and I wish I could go to him with big problems without feeling like I'm being a burden. Story 18. One day I want to explore the world. The next I want to stay in bed and not go anywhere. Can make me a bit hard to read. I've also been told that the fact I don't get jealous or possessive is a bit of a turn-off by 3 separate men. A woman is trying it on with you? I don't care, I trust you to handle it. You think another woman is sexy? Yeah, she is. Well done, your eyes work. You want to have a threesome with another woman? Let's do it and make you feel like a king. Story 19. I'm absolutely terrible at communicating my needs, and then grow hurt and resentful when they aren't met. I instinctively focus on supporting my partner and meeting their needs while routinely suppressing and internally minimizing my own. It's mostly a fear of being a burden combined with an ingrained belief that my own emotional needs are, themselves, a burden. Typical childhood trauma stuff. Story 20. Trying to learn to trust again when all I've been told are lies by the 2 relevant grown men in my adult life, one of whom was my husband for 14 years and father to my kids. Substance abuse, pornography addiction, lies on all fronts have just ruined my ability to trust men. Also, the need for some type of reassurance. I don't want to need that. The old me was confident and didn't need it. I want to be her again in that way anyway. But I'm not, and I can't just be her again because all this psychological damage to my brain is real. It's not fair to me or anyone I attempt to date, so I don't. I will again eventually, but it's exhausting and frustrating, and I'm not ready to deal with all the work I know I'll need to do then. Story 21. My kid and my work are taking up so much of my time. Stubborn independence and trauma response. Avoidant attachment. I am working on most of that though. Unfortunately, I don't think I'll be giving up the kid or the work. Story 22. I get bored so easily with almost all aspects of life. Things I used to like doing just don't interest me anymore, such as restaurants, cooking at home, and walking. Literally, the only things I like to do are traveling and exercising, and even now at 48 years old, the number of places I haven't been to and want to go to are dwindling. Canada and Scandinavia, and that's it. I'm also that kind of person who, like the cliched film quote, could walk out on anything in 30 seconds, partner, job, family, anything, and wouldn't bat an eyelid. Story 23. Since everyone is commenting, if we are all comfortable, let's try to help each other. If not, it's all right. I hope you all do well at the end of the day. Love you all. Story 24. I'm lonely. I don't have friends. I'm sensitive, and I struggle with showing my emotions because I didn't have the right people letting me express them. I also struggle with depression on a daily basis. I don't want to be a pain to carry for my partner. Story 25. I detach and like my solitude. I connect to people easily enough. I like drawing into the intimacy, but like clockwork, it is time to retreat with my books and my cat. I also need things to be clean and put back how I like it. Otherwise, it stresses me out. Story 26. I am hyper-independent and quick to end fights by giving in and just saying sorry to get it over with, thus resulting in me tallying all the incidents to calculate a breakup. Story 27. I am very spontaneous and like to travel. Most people's jobs do not allow them to travel with me all the time, which I don't mind, but some people don't like being left alone for a while. Story 28. Finding someone who I see as a really good friend and to whom I am also attracted is important to me. I feel like a lot of people just settle for physical looks, leading to toxic relationships where neither person enjoys the same things. I've known so many guys who had girlfriends that just hated everything they did for fun. Every outing, party, and event resulted in them complaining incessantly, as if they would rather do something else they enjoy, which usually involves sitting on the couch watching TikTok or YouTube shorts. I want my partner to enjoy the activities I do for fun, ideally having enough in common that it would be easy for us to be best friends. Story 29. Well, for starters, I do not drink alcohol and I refuse to go to those places. I am kind of a hermit. I am pretty particular about cleanliness and organization. I do not like deviating from my budget. I firmly believe in the phrase, you are only as good as the company you keep. So if you have any toxic, alcoholic, drug-addicted, generally unkind, and close-minded friends, I will probably leave. I have had a driver's permit for years, and I have tried to get my license many, many times, but I still have yet to pass the driving test. I am a quiet, peaceful person in a world where most people are neither of those things. I cannot stand when my significant other brings people into my home without my knowledge or consent. I was almost murdered in my own home and still have trauma from it. I do not tolerate people who smoke in the car with kids. Sleeping 8 hours a night is extremely important to me, so I really do not like being with someone who tries to make me stay up late or wake me up early unless it is an emergency. I do not like overly religious people. I do not even like the salted ones. People who are rude to service workers are a huge turnoff. I am not into sports at all like most guys my age. I could go on. I have dated quite a few women in the past. Some relationships have lasted longer than others, but most have ended because I refuse to change one or multiple of the things mentioned above. Have a great day. Story 30. I have abandonment trauma from a terrible childhood, and I've gone to lots of therapy, so I don't handle it chaotically anymore. But if I feel disrespected, distrusted, or excessively ignored, my interest in that person vanishes quickly. I will adjust all aspects of my life to consistently make a partner my priority, and I suppose I'm looking for a similar energy. I met my last girlfriend on Instagram and we ended via Instagram. She posted one of those stories where you tag your 5 favorite people on Instagram and didn't tag me. The first person she tagged was someone who previously attempted to flirt with her while we were together, and I had let her know I was uncomfortable with them and didn't want to meet them. I told her that felt disrespectful to me, but she chose to leave it up. I'm not going to be controlling. I spent 2 weeks trying to get over it because I knew intellectually that it was just an Instagram story, but I wound up telling her I had fallen out of love with her and we needed to part. Meanwhile, she was like, "You're still on that? I've already apologized." Yes, and I forgave the act, but my heart still changed. Sorry, girl, and I wish you the best. Before that, I dated someone whose previous ex hadn't broken up with her. He died. As time went on, it became clear that she didn't really see me. She wished I was him. I told her that I felt for her, but I wasn't going to live like that, and I left her and the decent life we could have had together. I told her she was probably not as ready to date as she thought she was, and now I'm reluctant to date anyone widowed. They weren't married, but still. If it's our first or second date and they talk about their ex or spend a significant amount of time talking to someone else in general, I will end the date. I will treat you and your friends, even other guys, like royalty unless I start feeling like you generally prioritize them over me. Then they can have you. Recently, I had a Bumble match I thought I had a very good connection with. She canceled the first date because work was busier than expected. I was disappointed, but it wasn't a deal breaker. But my outlook was already dampened. Then I got sick with COVID-19, picked it up at a New Year's Eve party, and had to request we postpone until I recovered. She just said, "We'll plan when you're better," and didn't ask how I was doing the next day or anything. I can't say she did anything wrong, but I was put off and unmatched her. Story 31. I might start to have a hard crush on you very fast, but after a few weeks, I might realize that my attention deficit hyperactivity disorder brain was just excited by the newness of our relationship and I'm not actually in love with you. Story 32. After the initial period with only passion and love as a guide, I would set a non-written contract, what you want, what I want, with short dash, mid dash, and long-term goals. I don't know if this is the right way to explain, but just to simplify, I would not leave anything open to interpretation. For example, I'm not hungry equals, just buy me some extra fries and a small burger, would not surprise me or take years to learn. Or if I like to play games with friends once a week, this would be said. No lies, no pretending, no undisclosed preferences.